What up? It's your boy T-Bear and reaction to Today's Wrestling Wednesday. Now we got finished checking out the 13 worst matches of 2023. Now we're going to check out every 5-star. Hope I said 5 times. Anyway, 5-star matches of 2023, and we had some bangers from WWE, AEW, New Japan Wrestling. Be honest, Impact should have been as well too, because some banger matches on there as well too. But I guess we're gonna do out of the 3. Either way, let's get it. We're gonna check out the banger matches of WWE, of the banger matches of wrestling in general. Let's get it.
Another year has somehow come and gone. 2023 is at its end. We're all a little older. We're all a little wiser. We've all seen a lot more wrestling. Some of it good, some of it bad, and some of it good enough to earn 5 stars from Uncle Dave. Here we are once again putting one man's opinion on a pedestal, but really I just look at this list as an opportunity to look at some of the very best matches of the whole year, because we all have things going on in our lives that keep us from watching the metric ton of pro wrestling we would all like to consume. Laurie had to collect his 39th Transformer. Sullivan had to watch Chelsea lose again. Luke had to raise that kid he keeps talking about, but I've still never seen. It has indeed been a busy year. I hope you like Will Ospreay. I'm Tempest hailing from partsFUNknown, and this is every 5-star match or higher of 2023. But before we get on with this list, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and enable notifications to always on so you never miss a fun list just like it. And make sure you check out the Christmas edition of Survival Series. It's very good. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, Wrestle Kingdom 17, 6¼ stars. Only 3 things are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and a match of the year candidate on January 4th. But even for January 4th standards, this match was special. Just as Bobby Clark once said about Bobby Orr, these guys should be in one league higher than this. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega put on many people's match of the year at Wrestle Kingdom, capping off years of pent-up animosity and exceptional reality-based storytelling through violent brilliance, while still somehow leaving the door open for more to come. Kenny DDT's Will on an exposed turnbuckle, and I think now, nearly a year later, it is still the most brutal and exceptionally performed spot I have seen in 2023. And also Christian killing Darby on the steps, but I forgot about that while I was writing this entry. Kenny Omega in a New Japan ring is as close as this fan can get to perfection, and I certainly hope we haven't seen the last of it. The Elite versus Death Triangle, AEW Dynamite, January 11th, 5 stars. 1 week later, and Kenny Omega was back at it again, winning more championships, this time of the trios variety. The culmination of the best of 7 series between the Elite and Death Triangle in the Young Bucks home territory helped to get AEW's 2023 started off hot. It is no secret that these 2 teams work extraordinarily well together, but they informed the uninitiated with a very not tame ladder match. From Fear Factors and Hurricane Ranas onto ladders to Brandon Cutler cold spraying Alex Everhantis in the eyes, everybody came out of this match a little worse for wear. It wouldn't be long before the trios titles would take a massive dip in importance, but in January of 2023, these 2 teams made these belts a prize worth going through hell for.
And that helped the fact that both teams was somewhat baby faces in a way.
Hangman Page versus John Moxley, AEW Revolution, 5 stars. While all wrestling certainly is subjective, we are now getting into very divisive territory. 2023 has been the year that Hangman Page became the AEW King of the Death Match, which I personally didn't see coming, but as the protagonist of the promotion, I absolutely welcome Paige having that distinction. The highly personal rivalry between Hangman Page and John Moxley.
His match against Swerve was nice. You know, Swerve won. This match against Swerve was lovely.
Had started as a respectful bit of competition over the AEW World Championship, but after a concussion and some very harsh words, Paige and Mox found themselves going through hell to be called the better man. Bricks and tacks and barbed wire were only some of the potpourri found in this match before Hangman lived up to his name, choking Moxley out with a chain for the win. This sort of match may not be everyone's bag, baby, but if it is, or it could be, you won't find too many examples of this sort of match being done better than this. MJF versus Bryan Danielson, AEW Revolution, 5¾ stars. Less than an hour later, we went from one of the greatest death matches of all time to the single greatest Iron Man match of all time. MJF's reign of terror as AEW World Champion was still in its infancy at Revolution, so with a need to get a classic pay-per-view title defense under his proverbial belt. There would be no one better to turn to than Bryan Danielson.
Still a heel, but
Unfortunately, I do not have an hour to go over everything that was great about this match, but the simple and brilliant storytelling involved in this moment, with MJF sobbing after having been forced to wrestle the best in the world for an hour while Bryan has stood smiling in his element, is so perfect. MJF needing to be put on an oxygen machine while Bryan does jumping jacks, all leading to the first Bryan-led yes chant in AEW before he is forced to tap to his own hold. A perfect match, and one that serves as Bryan's AEW pay-per-view classic just as much as it did MJF's. Kenny Omega versus El Hijo del Vikingo, AEW Dynamite, March 22nd, 5 stars. I will tell you right now, there aren't many matches that force
it's Van Kingo, man. Come on, man. You cannot. There's no such thing as a barely Kenny match other than that bullshit death match with the exploding ring match was with Moxley. But anyway, besides that one, majority of both of them, it's barely any. It's like very little you want a bad match of them. I mean, very little. Like I said, that exploding ring match was bullshit, but still. But definitely Viking, it's very hard to find a bad match out of him.
AFK headquarters to stop and gather around the television to all take in together. This was one of those matches. The long-awaited dream match between Kenny Omega and the Twitter gif come to life El Hijo del Vikingo was just that, a dream come true. Vikingo is a generational high flyer, and it is because of matches like this that I don't feel I have to come on these lists at the end of the year and sing his praises. Now, everyone knows just how brilliant he is. Crazy flipping reverse Ranas, inverted
This is another one I'm glad he getting some AEW airtime. He Impact's good enough airtime, but AEW is the bigger show than Impact, number one. That was better, perfect stage for him, and he showed out. I'm glad he did.
Ranas and springboard 630s all sound like moves you should only be able to pull off in a video game, and we all got to see it on free television. Matches like this are what AEW was built for, and I feel blessed to have witnessed it. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. WrestleMania 39, 5 stars. We had to wait for the 39th WrestleMania for the WWE Tag Team Championship to be defended in a main event match, but thankfully that wait produced maybe the best WrestleMania main event of all time. At the time of WrestleMania 39, the Bloodline story appeared to be WWE's magnum opus. Now, we all know how WrestleMania ended, but at the halfway mark, we were still on pace for the greatest blow-off in WWE history because of this match. There was only one finish that made sense for this match, and it was Sami Zayn pinning Jey Uso. And that is exactly what we got. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn finally winning tag gold together in WWE, ending the record-setting reign of the Usos after everything the Bloodline had put them through was euphoric. And a feeling that could only have been rivaled by a similar finish the following night, but we're not gonna talk about that. Shingo Takagi.
Now, let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. Right. Let's go back to that.
Everything the Bloodline had put them through was euphoric, and a feeling that could only have been rivaled by a similar finish the following night, but we're not gonna talk about.
About that. Don't fuck it up again, 40. Don't fuck it up again, 40, please. But I'm not sure right now. But hopefully, like I said in the one video, hopefully this is a distraction, so we still can get some unpredictability and unpredictability that Cody gets it.
About that. Shingo Takagi versus Aaron Hanare, New Japan Pro Wrestling Road to Sakura Genesis Night 2.
Hold up a second. Let's see what's going on, little man. Let's keep going. But yeah, I did hear this match was lovely. I did hear about how good this match was. Shingo, I'm gonna fix Shingo.
5.25 stars. Breaking up the 2 days of WrestleMania is pesky old New Japan and the King of Pro Wrestling Championship of all things. In its 3 years of existence, it has not been a title known for the quality of its matches. It's a belt defended with a different stipulation every time. We've seen blindfold matches, sumo matches, take the turnbuckle pad off matches. You get the idea, it's silly. However, put the title on Shingo Takagi and have him wrestle a best of 5 falls match, where to win you have to win your 3 falls by pinfall, submission, and knockout, and you get a 5-star King of Pro Wrestling match. Aaron Hanare is a hell of a big meaty man to battle Shingo, and by the end, when these two are both only trying to knock each other out, you get the kind of big meaty man slapping meat match that really gets blood flowing. Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre, WrestleMania 39, Night 2. 5 stars. Speaking of big meaty men slapping meat, we heard you like that Gunther versus Sheamus match at the Clash at the Castle and decided to give it to you again, this time with an additional 50% more meat. But while this match certainly did benefit from having a third mountain of man meat to get involved in the violence and destruction, Drew McIntyre's presence also added loads to the story of the match, as his friendship with Sheamus had dissolved as a result of Drew and Sheamus liking the same girl. Pardon me, title. Sheamus's final goal in his career was winning the IC title, and seeing his friend Drew choose to go after the same prize drove a wedge between them that has yet to be rectified, and that was very much the case during this epic WrestleMania Classic. And I've barely mentioned Gunther. At this point, I'm convinced he is a top 5 in-ring performer in WWE history, and if you think that is hyperbole, I would just
say if alignment was a thing in wrestling, I'd definitely say I'd definitely say my career that, but unfortunately he's a heel, so I can't. So I'm off still on that one.
You to go watch this match again. Master Wato versus Tetan. New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors Final. 5 stars. What a difference 3 years can make for young Master Wato. From strolling into an empty building with bright blue hair and stinking out the joint in his debut, looking like the biggest goober in New Japan, to winning the Best of the Super Juniors tournament in one of the best matches of the year. The same can honestly be said about Tetan, who I didn't think much of when I saw him for the first time 4 years ago, but now comfortably sits as one of the best juniors in the promotion as well.
Tetan, not Titan.
In the final of the tournament was a 25-minute classic with momentum shifting more times than I can count, and with a roaring crowd and LIJ at ringside, this had the atmosphere of one of the biggest matches in New Japan this year. Anarchy in the Arena, AEW Double or Nothing, 5 stars. For the second year in a row, the Blackpool Combat Club walked into Las Vegas to have a big old brawl around the arena and walked out with 5 stars. But while this one may not have had Eddie Kingston with a gas can, it did have the Elite super kicking the annoying-ass band that missed their cue to stop. The Young Bucks also continued their foray into shoe-based warfare, this time putting an explosive on the bottom of their shoe. This match was just as all over the place as its predecessor, which may or may not have been to everyone's liking, but the match and its finish of Konosuke Takeshita turning on the Elite capped off this chapter of this gang warfare rivalry, leading to their blood and guts match in July. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Kazuchika Okada, and Tomohiro Ishii versus the Blackpool Combat Club, New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion, 5 stars. It doesn't matter what promotion it was in, put the Blackpool Combat Club in the ring with talent of equal or greater caliber, and you have yourself a 5-star match. In this case, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli took their talents to Japan and enlisted the help of young Shota Umino in their attempt to relieve the New Japan All-Star team of Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Tomohiro Ishii of their never open weight 6-man tag titles. There is so much to love about this match. The crowd are so excited to see Claudio in New Japan and pop big when he starts the match against Tanahashi. Moxley and Ishii reignite their old rivalry, and
That's probably explain why New Japan fans be getting on folks like myself about alignments, I guess, because they don't really have like they cheer for any, just about anybody on there. So yeah, that explains that why I deal with some of the dickheads in the group I'm in.
Okada continued his bitter veteran diatribe against the next generation of New Japan stars, beating down and eventually pinning Umino. This is just an electric match filled with star power, exciting combinations, and storytelling, and that doesn't even factor in the post-match announcement of Okada versus Danielson for Forbidden Door. Speaking of, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door, 6.25 stars. 2 wrestlers, 2 matches, 2 identical ratings. Not a day goes by that I don't curse WWE for booking Money in the Bank in London, meaning I could not take my summer trip home to Toronto 1 week earlier to see this match. It is up to you whether you think this match or Ospreay and Omega's Wrestle Kingdom Classic is the better of their 2 2023 encounters, but after months watching both back and letting them marinate, I think Wrestle Kingdom is just marginally better. But if you told me this was the match of the year, I wouldn't argue with you. The only knock against it is AEW's officials being made to look utterly useless. But if you look past that, the match is amazing. The first match was
I haven't noticed that AEW be useless, more useless as well too. I mean, WWE's never been that bad. I mean, we had the one who was getting knocked out on Roman Reigns match, but other than that, they are definitely useless.
Omega's turn to get the bulk of the offense, but this was Ospreay's time, and he responded with pure, vicious bell-endedness. Pardon me while I coin a phrase. Combine that with Omega's fighting spirit, providing the best kick out at 1 in goddamn years, and you have the best meeting of England and Canada since me. Katsuhiko Nakajima versus Kento Miyahara, Pro Wrestling Noah, One Night Dream, 5.25 stars. We don't often get to talk about Pro Wrestling Noah on this channel, much to my dismay, but that does just mean times like this are so special. On the surface, this may seem like a massive Pro Wrestling Noah versus All Japan Pro Wrestling match, with Miyahara being All Japan's ace and Nakajima calling Noah home, but rather this was an intensely personal battle between two former partners with loads of history. Miyahara is the best substance over style.
Somehow I feeling that sound like it because they look two look alike though. They look like a good tag team partner, but. Let's get it.
Wrestler in the world. That's not to say he isn't exciting, but everything he does is very simple, and he manages to still have fantastic matches and tell phenomenal stories through his execution and charisma. Here, he and Nakajima exchange the best strikes you will see in wrestling this year, and through those strikes, you feel all of the animosity these guys are feeling towards each other. This match slaps and also punches, elbows, and knees, and you will not be disappointed going out of your way to see it. You don't need to know loads about Noah to enjoy it, you just have to like good wrestling. FTR versus Bullet Club Gold, AEW Collision, July 15th. 5.25 stars. The second of only 2 traditional tag matches to score the full 5
Juicy.
A sharp downturn from last year, but when last year's tag team MVPs got to let loose in a near hour-long 2 out of 3 falls match, we got the tag team excellence we had been craving. FTR and Bullet Club Gold carried Collision from an in-ring standpoint for the first month of the show's existence, and their 58-minute blow-off match remains maybe the best match in the show's short history. From all the callbacks to teams from Days of Yon, to the excellent commentary from JR and Nigel McGuinness, to White being the best heel worker ever, this is just a phenomenal match, which seems redundant considering every match on this list is, but if you have an hour of your day to carve out for some wrestling, you will not go wrong watching this match. Tetsuya Naito versus Will Ospreay, New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax, Day 18, 6 stars. Do you like Will Ospreay? Well, you're about to hear his name a lot. The back half of the year was absolutely...
Like I said, Will Ospreay had a great... Despite his alignment, I don't know what he is right now, man. I feel like he should be better at babyface or anything, but he has some great matches, though, despite his alignment.
Dominated by Ospreay, and while that began with beating Kenny Omega, his momentum really took hold in the G1 Climax. After a very good showing in block competition, Ospreay had his tournament run ended by Tetsuya Naito in the very best match of the whole tournament. Naito being unable to resist going for the Stardust Press and failing made me weep my little eyes out, but Ospreay legitimately knocking Naito out with an errant kick, then managing to hit himself with 2 Destinos as Naito got his bearings back was maybe the most impressive wrestling I have seen all year. Tatsuya Naito versus Kazuchika Okada, New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax Final, 5 stars. New Japan Pro Wrestling on the whole may not be the promotion that it was before the pandemic, but I don't know if there is a single wrestler's character I am more emotionally invested in than Tetsuya Naito, regardless of the state that New Japan is in. And let me tell you, I was very not expecting the last ride of Naito to come in 2023. Naito going for his 3rd G1 victory at this stage in his career was among the most emotional matches I saw this year. And after finally managing to put away longtime rival Kazuchika Okada in yet another legendary G1 Climax final, Naito proved that even in the twilight of his career, he is still New Japan's Shuyaku. Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi, Rev Pro 11th Anniversary Show, 5 stars. Match 1 of 2 that I was privileged to witness live. 'Twas the night before All In, and all through the copper box, not a creature was sleeping. Not even Tegan Knox. Listen, it's hard to come up with a rhyme for Copperbox.
Really?
Ospreay didn't give himself enough credit in his Dynamite promo. He did not just work in Indy the night before All In, he tore the house down the night before All In. Ospreay and Shingo have beyond incredible chemistry, and to see just how crisp their movements are up close was an experience like none I have ever had watching wrestling. Bryan Danielson versus Ricky Starks, AEW All Out, 5 stars. Not bad for a backup plan, eh? While this was not the CM Punk versus Ricky Starks blow-off match AEW had been building to, Bryan Danielson returning from his broken arm to defend the honor of Ricky Steamboat in a brutal and violent strap match was probably a better match than we would have gotten anyway. Ricky Starks went into this match motivated and clearly very frustrated and took all of that aggression out on Danielson, making him bleed like a stuck goat, which only helped the presentation of it all when Bryan mounted an equally violent comeback. Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita, AEW All Out, 5 stars. Then a half hour later, we had part 2 of our buy one get one free 5-star extravaganza as Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita had their long-awaited singles match. For as much as it hasn't felt like it since...
Hold on, somebody won't be held. Yeah, somebody won't be held. Now, again, if you have an issue, I can't help you with that, all right? I'm just being a good dad. Anyway, let's keep going. My bad. Like I said, let's keep going.
Takeshita did indeed beat Omega clean.
Yeah.
These are two of the most dynamic wrestlers in AEW, nay, the world, and whether it is as beautiful
as he'll take a shitter.
as an avalanche blue thunderbomb or as simple and vicious as a bare bone knee that
Must have took me watch my mouth.
that put Kenny down, there was a different kind of artistry to this match compared to the strap match. Both excellent, but I will leave it to you to decide which you prefer. Will Ospreay versus Yoda Suji, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Destruction in Kobe.
Well, the thing is, Meltzer, man. Meltzer loves New Japan, but yeah, New Japan been eating though. I mean, I can stand it because this is still a dope wrestling company. Just trying to find time to watch it and finding the time to watch because they be doing the overnight stuff.
Stars. No one brought out the best of the new Three Musketeers of New Japan in 2023 like Will Ospreay. Yoda Suji has a great presentation with wild eyes and a crazy smile. Features that spooked Ospreay for a moment just after Suji had pressed triangle and stole Ospreay's finisher. But while Suji definitely has a bright future ahead, Ospreay spent the second half of 2023 being practically untouchable, notching another win in his title reign and giving Suji the best match of his career thus far. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., AEW Wrestle Dream, 5.5 stars. The Cursed Forbidden Door event took so many classic matches from us last year, but thankfully, we got one back. There are loads of styles of wrestling, and I am not going to say that everyone has to love every style, but if you love technical wrestling or think that you could love technical wrestling, you will not find a better example of technical wrestling excellence than this match. At least, you won't until the rematch, where that coward Bryan Danielson won't take the easy way out and win with a strike. Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr., New Japan Pro Wrestling Royal Quest 3, 5.5 stars. And now for part 2 of Tempest's 5-star live wrestling experience of 2023. While those who I was in the company of may have already seen Will Ospreay and ZSJ wrestle live dozens of times, this was a first for me, and one of the best live wrestling matches I have ever seen. I could recite all the insane moves and counters in this match, but that would bore people, so I will not be reciting how Zack countered the handspring back kick into an ankle lock, and I will not be reciting how Ospreay countered the octopus hold into a pile driver, and I certainly will not be reciting how Zack countered the hidden blade into an excellent triangle choke. I certainly will not be doing any of that, despite how great it was. Will Ospreay versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
Okay, do some Impact. Yes. I was hoping they do some Impact. Yes. This match went. Mike Bailey been an underrated GOAT this whole year. I'll tell you that. He had not had a bad match this whole year either, man. But Will Ospreay definitely has some great matches.
Stars. Last year, I voted for Speedball Mike Bailey as my wrestler of the year. I love this man, and I love his work, and I love this match. The story of Speedball.
Do not change him. Do not make him a heel or anything. Keep him the way he is, man. He's doing great. Make him the new Ricky Steamboat if you have to, man. Just because.
All proving himself as one of the best in the world against the best in the world who was on the run of his career, while the arrogant Ospreay did everything he could to let Bailey know that they weren't on the same level, was fantastic and accentuated perfectly by Speedball having multiple devastating characters to Ospreay's biggest moves. And to cap it off, Ospreay hitting a Styles Clash in the former home of Mr. TNA AJ Styles was the cherry on top of this match that I feel totally comfortable calling the best match in Impact history. Will Ospreay versus Shota Umino, New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle.
Will Ospreay had a great year. But like I said, Will Ospreay had a great year, regardless.
5.75 stars. Just as Yoda Suji tried to dethrone Will Ospreay as the IWGP UK champion, Shota Umino took his turn at Power Struggle, and holy smokes bologna fudge and mustard, did Shota ever look like the future ace he is destined to be. Little by little, he has shown more of the edge that you would expect out of Jon Moxley's protege, and in this match, he wasn't having any of Ospreay's attitude, throwing a table at his head and walking forward into Ospreay's chops like an absolute badass. I don't know if it's only because I have seen so many Will Ospreay
sign up for New Japan just to watch these matches, yo.
matches in the last couple of weeks for this list, but the Stormbreaker into the Hurricane Rana is probably my favorite counter in wrestling right now, and my god, did they do it to perfection in this match. I love Shota, and my heart breaks for him to have lost this match right in front of his father, Jon Moxley. Katsuhiko Nakajima versus Yumi Aoyagi, All Japan Pro Wrestling Giant Series Day 11, 5.25 stars. For as infrequently as we get to talk about Pro Wrestling Noah on this channel, All Japan Pro Wrestling comes up even less, but when the promotion earns its first 5-star match in 24 years, I reckon that's as good a reason to check out the second oldest Japanese wrestling promotion as I could ever hope for. In fact, the promotion has been slowly experiencing a resurgence as of late, and it is due in no small part to wrestlers like Yumi Aoyagi and matches like this. Aoyagi Ospreay had been a great Triple Crown champion and was defending against outsider Nakajima in this match with stiff strikes and a hot crowd. Basically, if you like strong style, you will like this match. Hangman Page versus Swerve. AEW.
Let me tell you about this match. I know for me, first like me, should root for Swerve Strickland. No. Especially with the storyline of Hangman breaking into Hangman. No, Swerve breaking into Hangman house as a father, as a man. Never break the house and touch my kid. I wanted Paige though to fuck him up, and he did. He lost. I like he fucked him up, and everybody was talking about the blood spot. I loved every minute of that, because when you mess with my if you somebody mess with my seed, do what he did, man. I'm a good guy, but when I snap, I'm gonna go some crazy shit right there, and he did some craziness, and I loved every minute of it though. I'm mad he lost, but I understand why he lost, because it was his Swerve Strickland over, but still, I loved every moment of what Heyman did to him.
Full Gear, 5 stars. I mean, hell,
yes,
that motherfucker drank his blood.
That.
This match,
that part I love, because if that's when my mind snap, I'm gonna do some unthinkable, and that's what's right there. My mind snap, I'm gonna do the unthinkable and shit like that. I loved every minute about it. Oh, speaking of that, I might have to turn my one down. I want you to see this. I already got folks almost stop showing you. Yeah, whatever. I don't want you to see this because it's kind of nasty.
match is either the greatest thing you've ever seen in wrestling or the worst thing you've ever seen in wrestling. At least that's what Twitter would have you believe. But one way or the other, a 5-star rating it did receive. I am much more on the positive end of the spectrum in regards to this match, because while death matches are not...
Lowe's, I still love every minute of this match, though. Only because if, like I said, alignments didn't matter, I'll root for both guys.
Necessarily my cup of tea, I can certainly appreciate the incredible skill and craftsmanship it takes to put on a match as excellent as this. Hangman getting the barbed wire caught in his face is horrifying. Swerve taking the barbed wire chair off the chest on a moonsault makes me want to shrivel up. This is the best death match I've ever seen. Hangman Page is a vampire. Swerve should be your next AEW World Champion, and I'll see you all in 2024, or until Dave gives another match 5 stars within the last 3 weeks of the year. Take care. Merry Christmas. And that's just...
Alright, cool. For Swerve, I hope they make him a babyface soon. I'm gonna be honest, I hope they make him a babyface soon, because he deserves to be a babyface soon, man. Because he's over the crowd. You know he's a heel right now. He's over the crowd, man. Make that man anti-hero face, please. For the love of God, man. Let the give it to so the face fans can root for him as well too. But other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to your channel, and try to bring the little man in, but he wanted to be held, so and I have a problem with my son being my videos. I don't know what to say about you. But other than that, it's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.